3 decades were stolen from him, but instead of anger and resentment, Darrell Jones preaches for change and understanding. That's today's Freedom Files, Wrongfully Convicted.
November 11th, 1985, a night out at a local bar in Brockton, Massachusetts is cut short.
The police came into the bar and told us that someone had been shot outside the bar.
A suspected drug dealer lies face down in the bar's parking lot. Witnesses tell police they chased his killer before he hopped a fence and disappeared. A week later, a police informant names 18-year-old Darrell Jones as the shooter.
They were set already that this was going to be me.
He is charged with first-degree murder. Prosecutors have no physical evidence and give no motive, but they say Darrell committed the murder.
They had no facts. You can't make facts from a lie.
They say Darrell fled the scene, stashed the gun, and then returned to the bar to make it look like he never left.
7 witnesses unable to identify a suspect in court. The most they had was someone saying he looks the most like the guy. Looking most like the guy means there's a guy.
Police show jurors a videotape with a witness who describes the shooter. There's just one glaring problem.
When he didn't have her saying what he wanted her to say, and when it was time to pick the picture so they could show on the video she picked the picture, this cop said he accidentally. I went to press play, but I pressed record. And that's how the television program got in the middle of the video.
A clip of the sitcom The Phil Silver Show has replaced the part where the witness identifies the shooter.
I don't regret that I didn't testify. I regret that I had adults in charge of my life who were careless with it.
Darrell is found guilty by his all-white jury. Just before his 19th birthday, he is sentenced to life without parole. Darrell is taken to Warpole Prison, a maximum security facility that houses some of America's toughest criminals.
Everyone society is afraid of, every serial killer, every rapist, every mass murderer, those are my neighbors.
To avoid the negativity, Darrell creates.
I'm gonna bring life to this place. I ran my own magazine. I did a video from prison, Beyond the Walls, for children, for kids on the street. I did another video for mothers that had lost their children. I brought me in with me. I came home with me. That was my hope.
As Darrell enters his 3rd decade behind bars, his legal team uses new technology to prove the videotape used at his trial was edited and the officer lied about it. Then, a juror from his original trial reveals there was racial bias. 3
white guys or whatever, they were all having a conversation, and she asked them, he's guilty, why? They're already deciding I'm guilty, and they said, because he's black. Because I'm black.
In 2017, after 32 years in prison, Darrell is released on bond and given a new trial. 2 years later, a jury of his peers exonerates him after just 15 minutes of deliberations.
Darrell, welcome to DBL. Now, first of all, your story is absolutely mind-blowing, so thank you for being so transparent and sharing your story with us. Now, you called your lawyer from your original trial a public pretender instead of a public defender. When you look back at that trial, what do you find to be the most infuriating thing that he did? I know there's a laundry list.
I don't actually look at just what he did. I look at systematically those that were in control of what he was supposed to be doing. No different in the state of our country now. There were people in place that were supposed to govern him in that law as well. So I think it's a collective effort of harm.
Now, Darrell, your lawyer made you sit in a different area in the courtroom. What effect do you believe that had on the jurors?
The effect was to have me away from him so that I couldn't provide any information or objection. Had I been next to him, I would say, you need to be asking this. This cop is lying. We got him. That videotape is cut. There was a list of things I could have said. When someone takes you and puts you away from them, then they intend to disenfranchise you.
That's what they mean by systematic, man. I mean, absolutely. Now, the prison that you were sent to has one of the highest murder rates in the country. housing some infamous
At that time,
names.
yes.
Yeah, at that time, Aaron Hernandez was there. So how did those type of criminals shape your experience while you were there?
There are a lot of people there that never processed who they were. So they took on being other people, whether it was criminal element, robberies, whatever it was. They took on behaviors of others, the same way graduates in a prison or outside of here, the same way people marched on that Capitol, they took on behaviors of others.
What specifically do you want people to do to help change our justice system? Because I honestly would like to know.
I created a title called Not in My Name because it was the shortest route for me to get people to understand your involvement. When I was in prison, it was Commonwealth versus Darrell Jones. That means I was incarcerated in my own mother's name and your name, and both of the host name, right? And everyone that's involved in this name. So it was your name that they used because the prosecutors can't prosecute because a prosecutor decides, I want to prosecute people. The prosecutor has to prosecute in behalf of the people. And if the people are not paying attention to what's happening and the people are not watching what's happening, then they're allowing them to have too much power.
I can't imagine having 3 decades taken from me and then having the will and the almost, I want to say, anointment to go out and advocate for change. I would be full of anger. I just want to say that you are, you definitely have a purpose. And to our DBL Nation, please, let's try, let's be part of that change. So visit theinnocentconvicts.org. You can donate, you can volunteer, you can attend an event. Even words matter, as Darrell had said. There are plenty of options for action. Darrell, we thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate you and your words.
I thank you for the opportunity to even be here to process this.
Wow.
It's still a process for everybody that you interview.
Unbelievable. Thank you so much, Darrell. We appreciate you.